Hey everybody, it's Anna and welcome back to my booktube channel. Today we're going to be talking about a somewhat controversial topic within the booktube world and honestly the reading world at large, and that is e-readers. So I'm going to be filming the e-reader book tag today. Thank you so much to Sue Jackson for tagging me. I appreciate it. The original tag was created by Micah Cummins back in 2022, and I will make sure to link both Sue's video, Micah's channel, and all of the questions below, just in case you find yourself interested in making your own response tag. So let's get right into it. So here are the prompts. Number 1 is, what was the first e-reader you ever owned? What was your reason for getting one? Were you a reluctant convert or an eager one? So my first ever e-reader, I've only ever owned 2 in my life, and I have both of them still, was the original Kindle Paperwhite. As you can see, it's completely out of charge. This is just like par for the course for me with e-readers. I always let them run out of charge because I don't always use them as frequently as I read my physical books. My reason for getting one is that I got this as a Christmas gift from my parents when I was in college. And I had kind of resisted e-readers a lot. I was very much a reluctant convert. I still prefer reading physical books, and I just found the interfacing and the experience of trying out e-readers like in the Barnes & Noble or whatever to be very clunky and awkward. But the real reason that I decided to pick this one up, or ask for it rather, was because this was the first one where we got the digital e-ink display that was a lot less like looking at a screen. I looked at screens a lot because I was an English and classical studies major, and sometimes I would be reading these articles from journals or these books, that I had public domain copies of from Project Gutenberg on a laptop, and it was just killing my eyes. It was really tough. It was bad. And I had a friend who was a fellow actor in our student Shakespeare in the Park Club who had a Paperwhite, and he was reading on it, and I was like, can I try this out? I thought it was really user-friendly and very intuitive, and that it would make a great sort of study aid for me as well. And it did. And it also enabled me to buy way too many 99-cent books on the Amazon store and check out a bunch of ebooks from my local library. So yeah, kind of a reluctant convert, but I did enjoy this. The second question is, what e-reader do you use now / what e-readers do you own? So I only own 2. Like I said, I still have the original Paperwhite. It still works. It's just kind of sluggish and slow. A few years ago, my husband Sean gifted me the Kindle Oasis as a Christmas present as well. As you can see, again, it's run out of battery because I'm really bad at keeping these things charged. He picked this up for me because the Paperwhite was getting kind of sluggish and slow, and we were having to travel by plane a lot at the time, particularly to visit our families because we lived across the country from them. And he thought that this would be, a really good gift for traveling, so that way, I'm not breaking my back trying to carry all of my books with me. That I'd just be able to travel more easily and more comfortably with all the various chronic pain issues that I have if I wasn't lugging around a huge heavy backpack, because I'm nothing if not stubborn when it comes to pushing through for the sake of books. So that is the Kindle Oasis, and that is the one that I use now when I do. The third question, do you read digitally on multiple devices or always on the same device? If you use multiple, how do you decide which one to use? I was wondering if this question was kind of do you read partially on the Kindle and then go to the audiobook and then switch back? I wasn't really sure what the question was asking, which I guess kind of shows my answer. It's that if I read an ebook, I just read it on the Oasis and that's it. I do not switch back and forth between audiobook and reading with my eyes. That's just way too much cognitive dissonance for me, and it would just get too confusing. But yeah, if I read something on one device, I'll stick with the Kindle for the whole book. Number 4, do you still read physical books? If so, how do you decide which format to read a certain book in? Yes, the vast majority of my reading is physical books. I think that ebooks I will read more likely if the library hold wait is a lot shorter. If it's an ebook that I kind of like get as part of a bundle, so like some publishers like Verso or on Humble Bundle, you get like a bunch of different ebooks that you can add to your device of choice, and then I'm like, that's the format that I have it in. And then I guess prior to when we'll get to my current feelings about the state of the Amazon ecosystem, but prior to my growing disillusionment with that, there were books that I would read exclusively on Kindle because they were Kindle exclusives. Really not a fan of where Amazon has taken a lot of this recently, but we'll get to that. Number 5 is, what is something you dislike about reading ebooks? So we'll go for the tactile first. I still really prefer the tactile nature of having the physical book in my hands, being able to more easily annotate, more easily figure out like how much I have left in a chapter or in the rest of the book. Obviously, I like to display my books here. To me, they aren't just the text. They are also the objects, like the objects themselves as a work of art and as a piece of like materiality that's gonna stand some amount of the test of time is important to me. But I would say the main thing I don't like about e-readers and about the Kindle specifically is the way in which the way that the licensing works has become so weaponized by Amazon. I mean, against everybody except Amazon's bottom line. So to give it the TLDR, if you're not aware, basically when you buy or borrow an ebook from, it's usually Amazon because they are overwhelmingly like the major supplier of ebooks to the market, you don't actually really own the thing. You own a temporary license to the book itself, which Amazon can like change or revoke at any time. And they really started cracking down on this a lot more recently in the past year. There's always been some issues with this because it's caused a lot of unnecessary trouble for libraries who have to keep like buying to renew the licenses for the ebooks that they have in circulation. But it's become very anti-art, I think, and very anti-author. It's anti-consumer as well because you don't actually own the thing that you've bought. You're basically, I've heard someone call it like digital serfdom, where you're just sort of toiling away for someone else's ownership, and I don't like that. And I do not like that it is bad for the writers themselves. So that is my least favorite thing about ebooks and e-readers right now. Number 6, would you ever ditch physical books completely and become a sole ebook reader? If yes, why? If not, why not? Probably not. I feel like the main thing that would induce me to do so is if I needed to do that for accessibility reasons. One of the great advantages of the e-reader is the ability to change the font size and change the font for legibility on demand. That's very difficult to do in a situation with regular books, and even though large print books exist or books in alternate formats exist, they are not nearly as readily available or affordable as ebooks. And then it's kind of the same thing where like, I don't think I would switch over from physical books purely because of this. But again, with a lot of different like chronic pain things that I deal with, you have to get creative because you're not always like holding up a book to your face if you're in a lot of pain. So like the Kindle being somewhat lighter or like e-readers being lighter is definitely helpful with managing that. But I don't think I'd ever really want to make the full switch over. I would probably still have like physical copies of my favorite books, even if I was not able to read said physical copies because of accessibility. I would really prefer to know that they're there, even if my reading happens digitally. Number 7 is, where do you get your ebooks? Kindle store, library loans, third-party websites. I have not bought anything from the Kindle store in years, again, because of my aforementioned protest, I guess, against Amazon. And to be perfectly honest, if I were to ever get another e-reader, I would want to wait and find something that was like a better like third party or open source type thing that was more respectful of the consumer and of the art that goes into making and publishing these books. I would not buy another e-reader from Amazon. That's not something I'm interested in. So not really the Kindle store, mostly from libraries. I definitely will like library loan ebooks still, especially if I'm going on a trip, if the wait is shorter for the ebook than the physical book, or if I just happen to be browsing on Libby and I see something that looks interesting. I kind of alluded to this earlier, but I do get some of my ebooks from third-party websites. It is a little bit more cumbersome to get those onto the device, and I know that is by design because Amazon wants to push you into their ecosystem, but that's okay. I'm definitely fine with putting up with a little bit of friction in the name of a better overall reading experience. So number 8 is going to be to tag some fellow booktubers. So I will list some names in my description box below. However, if you are watching this video and you want to make it and you do not see your name down there, please feel free to go ahead and consider yourself tagged and let me know if you do make a response. If you are not a video maker, do let me know as well in the comments. How do you feel about e-readers? Love them, hate them, indifferent? Ebooks, do you have that same sort of like desire, craving for the old book smell that I do? Yeah, just let me know. Thanks again to Sue for tagging me in this video, and thank you all so very much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.